Like, are you talking about teacher seniority?
This, and then I'm gonna have to pop AFK for just a quick minute here.
Why did my stream reset again?
That happened to me a couple times 1 week, and I don't really know. It just drops. You don't even see it.
Live.
Yeah, you don't even see it on your OBS. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. No, it tells me I'm still live. I have 2 hours, 34 minutes, and counting of uptime on the stream, but my my Twitch stats just got reset to, like, I've been streaming for 0 minutes. I have 0 minutes.
I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, that happens to me. It's because the stream actually drops on Twitch's side, but not from OBS.
Just goofy.
I had to check my chicken, but it's still not thawed. Yeah, I had that happen a couple of times. I had a couple of VODs split up because of it, and I don't know, I never figured out. It just stopped happening. It happened a couple times, and then it stopped on its own. So I was like, alright. Whatever, dude.
Another good example of those kind of malincentives that come from stupid, poorly thought out performance metrics is like the SAT scandal.
Oh god, I could go on at that about that at length.
Yeah. First of all, SATs are not a good indication of what
they're bullshit
has learned in school. They're a good indication of what socioeconomic class they come from. They're a good indication of what their parents' household income is, but you don't need an SAT to tell you that. But because schools in the States would get their funding tied to their SAT scores, in part, these are individual school district decisions or statewide decisions, it incentivizes teachers to, like, when the students have handed in their SATs, they go to the end of the SAT where the hardest and higher scoring questions are located and put in the correct answers for, like, the last 8 or 10 questions. And a pattern emerged where all of a sudden, like, a kid would answer 2/3 of the test, skip a bunch of questions in the middle, and then answer the final 8 or 10 questions that are scored the highest because they're the hardest. It was like, why is this happening? And it's not individual test supervisors that were making this decision. What they found, I think, in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, they found that it went all the way up to, like, the school board superintendents were in on this scheme.
Damn.
Yep, people went to jail for it, but the root of it.
Oh, my stream just reset too.
Incentives. Yeah.
I just got this Starborn Striker is now live, so R.I.P. that VOD.
Satan Sprite doesn't have your little tag next to it.
Oh, we might have to redo our shared chat. Start sharing chat. There we go. Okay. So I might have missed things that were being said, and you might have missed things that were being said too.
Same, Rai. If you answered that question Because I didn't know what the first in, first out policy was. I think that's like teacher seniority. That's what it sounds like to me.
Sorry about that, guys. Not sure what happened there, but we seem to be back now.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. If you answer that question and you happen to answer it in Megan's chat, then I missed it.
I don't think he did. Oh, he said yes,
bogus.
yes it is, so I assume maybe that is related to seniority.
Broadly, I agree with the teacher seniority system, but there's got to be exceptions, right?
Well, again, it comes down to, are you giving them seniority because you trust them to do their job, or are you giving them seniority because of some stupid metric? Like, if all a teacher has to do in order to get protected by the system is wait out their time, then like, you're not really incentivizing them to do well.
And that's once again a symptom of like poor training and poor sort of pre-teacher training, like initial certification training, poor hiring practice, and then poor follow-up training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have good quality structures in place, then you can hold people accountable if you need to, right?
Yeah.
Without having to resort to all sorts of ineffective accountability measures.
Like, we make everything way more overbearing than it has to be, frankly, in my opinion.
Like, if something like that, right, at the school where I work right now, that would not fly. It just wouldn't, right? And it's the main reason why that wouldn't is because there's they really invest in professional development. They really hire carefully, to look at what kind of person is this teacher going to be, because what kind of person you are as a teacher actually really matters a lot more than your subject area expertise. So something like that, like it just wouldn't fly. And then it's like, look, you're a professional, right? Like, so I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that's like, everybody should get away with everything kind of thing.
But it's like, we don't want to treat everything we don't want to evaluate people on a case-by-case basis because it doesn't feel fair. So we just make an arbitrary rule and say, everybody who has been here for this long gets this. And it's like, okay, but what about the person who's knocking it out of the park and doing their work and being passionate about it versus the guy who just shows up every day and hands out a worksheet and doesn't engage with his students at all? Those two teachers shouldn't be getting treated the same way.
Yeah, no, that is not advocacy for what is called the school reform movement in the United States, which doesn't address any of those things. It's just union busting by a different name, and it doesn't address like the problems of initial teacher training and hiring practices and things like that. In fact, it just makes all of it sharply worse. The whole system you talked about, my older son would have suffered in a system like that. He's got learning disability. While he was put into special needs class a bit later, he started off in the mainstream program for kindergarten and grade 1. I can imagine how overlooked he'd have been. Oh my god.
Are we still not getting the shared chat? Hang on, let me do a test.
Yeah, I don't know. I got Rai Jones with the sent from Ghost Pepper.
Oh, maybe that was from before when yeah, that was from when it was okay.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, I just didn't know where the break was. That's something to keep in mind, I guess, when we do these shared things in the future. Yes, cheers, Pie. If something drops, we need to re-up it.
Yep. And you can tell because it doesn't have your little...
Yeah. It didn't even occur to me to think of that until...
Yeah, and kids did get overlooked, Saints, right? And the system that they put in place was never intended to encourage those kids getting overlooked, but it did encourage those kids getting overlooked. And that's where, like, carefully evaluating what exactly you're incentivizing really matters, right? What they cared about in the UK a lot more is, like, what number did you put down next to the kid's name? If you put the right number next down to the kid's name on the report card, you were fine. Which is not the same thing, like me writing, an 88% down next to a kid's name in my grade book or in their report card is not the same thing as that kid having learned anything. They should be connected, but they don't need to be.
The UK school system is super messy. Like, the more I learn about what you went through over there, like, the more I'm just kind of like, it's so screwed up. And the kids that come out of that system, too, like, it makes for depressed adults because they realize that nothing they do really matters. If their teacher decided to arbitrarily screw them out of something and they couldn't go a certain direction in school, then they'll spend their... We knew a guy who was like that, where he had been screwed out of, a grade. And it altered the whole path of his life, and he spent his whole life thinking, just working to pay the bills and never being happy. And that's horrible.
Yep.
It really puts the song Another Brick in the Wall in perspective.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And they have such a class-based culture there that there are things like Satan's Right, what you're talking about, being put into a special needs class a bit later and flourishing and things like that. There are all sorts of examples in the UK where you'll be streamed. They have multiple streams for a student. This is not necessarily special needs or whatever, right? There's like, these are the students that are destined for university and they're in this class. These are the students who are destined for diploma programs. They take these courses. These are the students who are destined for, going straight from high school to work. And these are the classes that they're going to take. And in the UK, it's actually really hard to switch from one to another. So let's say you're a smart kid, but you don't come from a home life that really prioritizes, doing your homework. Both your parents work, none of them can help you with your homework, none of them can supervise that you're doing your homework and confirm that you're doing it. And so you're like, well, I'm a smart kid, but I'm gonna be lazy, right? And I'm not gonna do my homework, and I'm gonna skive off with my friends and do whatever. And so you get poor marks in school, and so you get streamed into like the workplace placement kind of program. But then you figure things out, right? And you decide, actually, school is important to me. This isn't what I want my destiny to be. So I'm going to work my tail off to get out of this stream and into the academic stream. And you're like scoring 100% on everything. It's still hard for you to move from one to another, and you'll be blocked by the powers that be, right? And there are tests that you take in the UK at the state level where it's like they determine your future, and it's like, well, sorry, you had your chance to take this test and you didn't do well on it, and so this determines the rest of your life, and there's no like second chances or whatever, because this is the box that you belong in. And that's really is crazy.
8-bit is really cute, right?
TLDR for my experience teaching in the UK is like, I decided I'm going back to Canada, and I am, I taught at this school, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this school a year, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to leave the teaching profession, because I was so demoralized at the time. And I'm glad this school worked out. I'm really happy with where I am. But I was when I took this job, I was 1 foot out the door of the teaching profession. Like, I was going to be finished.
Well, the thing about what you were just saying... the thing about what you were just saying too about the UK schools, like that doesn't just translate to unhappy students. Like there's a reason why the vast population of the UK is basically depressed. Like no one's happy, everyone's surly and grumpy, and it's because no one is really able to do what they want because the system is designed to screw them over.
Yeah.
There we go.
There are a lot of reasons, and the education system plays a big part of that.
You can't see the color difference on the camera, but I really do like how it turned out. There's purple on the top side, and then a very subtle transition sort of here, and then into the blue on the underside, and it looks really nice. And I sort of did wide to small, and then to wide again, and then it tapers down. Sorry, you go. I'm done now.
Nice. Here we've got 8-bit. 8-bit is an adventurous and energetic spirit with mysterious origins. The Monkey Game Company proudly claims they developed 8-bit as their mascot and even designed their popular gaming console to resemble the plucky chimp's distinct head shape. But could a gaming company really have manifested a digital spirit into the rest of the world, or did the spirit already exist undiscovered until Monkey came along? It's a topic that the spiritographer community continues to debate. 8-bits go bananas whenever video games are nearby, and they've even been known to download themselves into an in-progress game in hopes of meeting some new digital pals. These spirits can get overexcited easily and tug out quickly, so if an 8-bit is ever looking under the weather, you should check its cartridge. Some dust may have built up inside, but a quick blow of wind should get it back on its feet in no time. A little bit of a video game trivia for you. Video game companies did not recommend blowing into the cartridge. That's a good point, Bart Owl. Don't blow your pets. But that was Nintendo. Nintendo actually recommended against it back in their cartridge days with the NES and the Super NES. They said don't blow into your cartridges because, like, you know, little kids will spit. Yep. But we all did it. We all did it. Like, tell me who among us as a child, it did work. It absolutely did work. I don't think it was like a cognitive I don't think it was like a cognitive bias either, like a confirmation bias. I think it actually did work. So we all know we all did it, right? We're in agreement. Nintendo can say what they want, that you shouldn't do it, but we know it works. All right, we leveled up, friends. What do we got here? Spiritographer rank 20. Megan's over here like, ha, level 20.
I choose not to say my spiritographer rank on the grounds that it might incriminate me.
Is it 69?
No. Not yet. No. It is a mere 62.
A mere 62.
Mere 62. Yeah, it is visible on my stream, yeah.
Oh, it's visible on your stream. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I use this game a lot. I use it during my crafting with Wolf. I use it during my regular day-to-day writing. So I use this game 6 hours a day. I have 356 hours in this game.
Wow, good.
So, like, this game has become part of my day-to-day. So it's not really a comparison. All right, guys, I have only about 40 more minutes, or not, I can't do the full 40 more. I have about 30 maybe minutes before I have to step away, because I do have a friend coming over for lunch. So I'm going to still, I think, pop on the other hoop and maybe we probably won't get a full strand finish, but maybe get it started. I'd like to imagine you guys can just hear me over here shuffling things around. Right. We've got a smaller hoop. "40 minutes before I have to take another call." Heck yeah, Bard. So you'll get to enjoy the rest of the stream pretty much. So this hoop is just small enough to avoid all of the beads that we've done already, which is perfect. And it's going to fit the whole wing. Going to be right along the edge there for that top bead. But that's okay, I think. And these are all the same color, so I think what I'll do is start at the bottom and just work my way up so that if I can't quite get that top bead in at first, we can move the hoop at the end. For anyone who's wondering, I switched to using plastic hoops because I used to use wooden hoops, but they break really easily. And also, the canvas actually slides around quite a lot in the wooden hoops. So I switched. I might just be able to fit that in there at the very top, but I switched to using plastic ones because they have a little ridge inside that holds the canvas more firmly in place and prevents it from sliding around. You do still have to tighten from time to time, but not in between every stitch. The more you use the wooden ones, sort of the looser they get as they wear out and the wood starts to break. They're cheap. You can get like a dozen of them for, you know, cheap. But I do like the plastic. So I'm just very gently tightening here. So a nice tight area to work with, and then I like to partially tighten and make sure my canvas is seated in the ridge, and in this case is not crunching any of our beads. Oh yeah, I just remembered I have more blue and purple to do on the neck and the head, so I'll probably end up using blue for those. But we'll see. We'll decide when we get there. It's like, I'm done with that color, but I'm not actually. And so I'm looking for...
Oh.
I don't want this to be tight enough.
Back.
Oh, welcome back.
Bart, how did you predict when I would come back? And also, what do you want advice or an anecdote about?
So I'm looking for it to be slightly, not like super firm, but like not super loose in here, but also not tight enough that it's gonna crunch my, that's gonna ruin what I've already worked on. And there we go. We are ready.
Sorry, magic? You want advice or an anecdote about magic? Which? Oh, okay. How can I make someone fall in love with me without dating apps or leaving my house? So, you need to, first of all, communicate with the other person. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how I could predict you were going to be back. I was extremely confused. So you're really limiting yourself without dating apps or leaving the house because you need to actually, like, find and communicate with this person. I think that number one, to find this person and identify them, you just need to go into the spaces where you are finding your interests to be fed, where you're able to pursue the things that stimulate you, because this is where you're going to find a person who shares in those interests, and that's usually a good start.
Project yourself into the astral realm, my dear, and search through people's dreams until you find the ideal partner. And once you've done that, yes, and just implant the image of yourself into their consciousness, and then all you need to do is acquire their address, and you're well on your way.
Right.
To the perfect partnership.
So just like a Midsummer Night's Dream style, like magically enchant them to love you.
I mean, I'm not saying magically enchant them. I'm just saying enter their dreams, hang out with them there. They'll think
idea of loving
they
you
will
into their
think. Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just hang out with them in their dreams so that they get to know you, and when they wake up, they think about you. And then they've already got this idea of you and who you are, and then I'm not saying to hypnotize them and implant the idea that they love you. I mean, hang out with them, woo them in their dreams, and then once you've done all of the wooing in the dreams, then you just get their address and you meet in person, and they're like, oh, I've been dreaming of a person just like you. And you're like, oh, you don't say, I've been dreaming of a person just like you. And then you, presumably kiss. That's how it works, right?
That doesn't sound...
That's how modern love works?
Like manipulation at all.
No, not at all. It sounds very reasonable to me.
Does it sound like you're skewing their free will and release?
I'm an old lady. I don't know how you young whippersnappers do anything these days. I mean, in my day, the farmer down the road made eyebrows at you, and your father was like, yes, he's a good match. He has 20 sheep and 6 pigs and at least 3 cows. And that was it.
Excellent.
You went away at it. Frankly.
Well, thank you, Ephema, for your insights into this matter.
You're welcome.
Some people might call your ideas outdated.
Oh.
Frankly crazy.
Oh.
Likely illegal.
Nothing I haven't heard before.
I wouldn't say borderline unethical, just outright unethical.
I don't think that hanging out in your dreams is no different than hanging out at the pub. There's
That's
no...
not what you're saying, though. You're saying to
There's-
implant ideas.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying just
into
hang
a person's
out.
mind.
I'm saying just hang
Or
out
just
in...
hang out.
In their
Okay.
That's what I literally said, is just hang out in their dreams, get to know them, and then once you've fallen in love together in your dreams, meet in person.
But are you not creating this idea of, you're like, hey...
It's
I'm
not
the person of
Inception.
your dreams.
You're not going into the secret house in their brain and making a top spin. You just sit down and have an imaginary drink.
I don't know, but even so, you're giving them this idea that it's like, oh my god, I've been dreaming about you. It's destined that we should be together or whatever, right? Which is
Yes.
you're.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
Some people like that. Some people consider that to be romance. Bard, I don't know any hot but humble sheep farmers, but if I meet some, I will give them your number.
Well, this was all a very interesting diversion.
I mean,
What do I do without
we-
a party to poop?
advice was
I'm
being
just
given.
saying-
It's sort of my bailiwick.
I'm just saying, like, invading another person's dream and setting yourself up as their subconscious fantasy.
I'm not saying to set them up. I'm not saying to be anything other than who. I think that you're adding a lot of implications into this that I am not personally making.
You're strategically not. You're doing the whole thing where you're like, I'm just asking the question.
No, I literally said just hang out with them at the pub and get to know them. I didn't say look into their deepest desires and style yourself after them. That sounds crazy. That sounds unethical.
Are you telling them that you're literally a person in real life and you're simply communicating with them through your dreams?
I mean, that's your decision to make, really. You might want
perspective.
You might want to see if they're into you first before you reveal that you're a real person, and then once they're into you, but if they're not into you, then just move on to the next person, really.
Yes.
There's no point in hanging out with someone who doesn't appreciate you for who you are.
I just believe in honesty. That's all.
I don't think anything I said...
Transparency.
I don't think anything I said was in any way dishonest or morally ambiguous. If you go down to the pub and hang out with someone and get to know them, what's the difference between that and having the same conversation in the astral realm? It's just a different place. I'm not saying to lie to them about who you are or where you come from or what you're looking for. That seems like the worst way to find love. I feel like you added a whole bunch of things in there that were never said by this here Woods Witch.
No, I would agree as long as you're being honest about, like, hey, I'm just a real person who's visiting you in a dream.
Yes, okay. And when you wake up from a dream and you think, that person that I met that said they were real, are you going to believe that was real? Like, I don't think it's something you really need to lead with, but I'm not saying leave it out. I never said to lie.
But there is such a thing as lying through omission.
Well, I don't think you're going to get a very good match if you lie to a person.
I agree with that. Honesty is the best policy.
Especially for love. If you lie about who you are, and they lie about who they are, and then you start living together, it's just going to be a nightmare. Frankly.
What time is our company coming over, Megan?
I told her to be here at 2. Oh, I told her to be here at 2.
I was talking to Megan.
Sorry. To send Defima home. I told her to come for 2. So if we wrap up around like 1:45, 1:50, well, we should be good.
Because we know that what'll happen is she'll just sit in her car outside of the house.
I told her she didn't have to do that, but she might.
She probably will.
Listen, I think that Ghost Pepper made a certain number of assumptions based on the fact that Ephema is a warlock.
I made no assumptions. I think that using your magic to court a person without telling them that that's what you're doing,
I mean,
is dishonesty through omission.
I think that telling someone that you're magically projecting into their dreams isn't going to make much difference until they meet you in person, but, you know, to each their own.
It makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference.
You find
out if they're into that sort of thing right away.
I don't know if you have the same kind of dreams that I have. It sounds like your dream life isn't nearly as wild as my dream life, but I love that for you.
Right. I'm sure it was a great reference, but I've never seen Fiddler on.
I actually I looked at it and I almost tried to sing in the Ephema voice, but I didn't think I could. I thought if I tried to sing it as Ephema, it would all go horribly wrong. But I appreciated it a great deal. Also, Ephema was having to defend herself against some horrible accusations.
There were no horrible accusations.
Regarding her best practices.
There were no horrible accusations.
Horrible.
No accusations at all. Simply pointing out.
If I thought I could sing while doing a voice, it would be different. But I don't think that.
I have this format again.
Also, you could
There's
just
no
try...
What are you talking about digging? There's no digging.
You could
It's a straightforward... Be transparent about who you are.
I never said to lie about who you are. Also, you could try contacting the Cosmic Matchmaker, but I don't recommend it. She's very cranky, and she doesn't always appreciate being bothered.
You don't need to actively lie to...
I never said...
That's all I'm saying.
I just want it pointed out that I never said to actively lie. And that I feel that would be a very poor partnership proposition, but you know. I guess I didn't think I needed to specify the details of hanging out. I assumed that people would know how to hang out.
I don't want to be alone, but I also don't want to have to meet people or date. Is that so much to ask?
Bard, I mean, you could try the Cosmic Matchmaker, but that's a dangerous prospect.
Bard, I think the most authentic thing that one can do is like there's nothing wrong with like dating apps and trying to date and things like that, right? Like I'm not gonna say that that's bad, but I think that the most authentic thing that one can do is let things take their course in a way.
When the moment is right, the universe will send you a person and you won't even be expecting it.
Yeah. Like meet through common interests. If you're not trying to look for somebody, then you're not going to settle for the wrong person. I don't know if that makes sense.
Be open to a possibility when it happens, but you don't necessarily have to go actively seeking it, I think, is what is being said.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with actively seeking it, but...
No, but if actively seeking is frustrating you and not really getting the results that you want, then... It's fair to just sit back and be like, yo, universe, throw the homie a bone, you know? That's how you young whippersnappers talk, right? Throw the homie a bone. I heard a spirit that I'm familiar with the other day say something about mofos. And I'm thinking that maybe it's a phrase that I should start using.
Really?
It sounds like something only the hippest of people say.
Well, I think I know the spirit that you're talking about. She is pretty cool.
She's very cool. She's
Don't
young. She's much more in touch with the youths than I am. I know you're tired of raiding Rai Rai, but you don't want to end up with the wrong person either.
Yeah, that's worse. That's worse than waiting.
That's just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and worse, like Go said, because then you get hurt.
Yep.
Oops, I've done that incorrectly. Won't go in the right order. I think I'm gonna finish this diagonal here, and then we will wrap up. End of stream might be slightly abrupt, because like I said, we've got company coming over, but it's been nice hanging out and just getting to chat a bit. I'm looking... I'm looking forward to getting back into more regular schedule, but this was a nice sort of welcome back. Getting to see everybody, getting to just shoot... Because we only get to shoot the shit so much on my regular streams, because I have to do work at a certain point. So we don't always get to chat consistently.
Yeah.
There's like bursts of chatting. There are so many of these beads that it can be hard to see the ones I want.
Out.
Ooh.
Do you want to play Guild Wars later today, Bard out? Asking for a friend. That friend is me. We don't have any more plans today, do we, Megan? Am I forgetting anything?
Nope. Not until tomorrow. Golf tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Golf tomorrow. We got errands in the morning.
Errands in the morning. Golf in the... I'm just planning on puzzling after our company leaves, so... And then getting stuff ready to ship tomorrow.
Hell yeah. No worries, Bard. Right on. Well, feel free to DM me on Discord or hop into the game and whisper me. You don't have D&D tomorrow night. Hell yeah.
Yeah, very specifically spoke to... I very specifically spoke to Wolf about when he was available, and when he said that he wasn't available on Wednesday because of D&D, I was like, that means Rai Rai will be available as well.
Maybe I'll meet a hot dragon or something in Guild Wars. You might.
Maybe it's designed to spice things up a different way. Rupert! Why are you
response.
like this?
I don't have D&D tomorrow night. It looks like you're facing a critical fail on your D&D plans. Don't worry, maybe it's a sign to spice things up in a different way. Let's roll with it and see where the night takes you.
First of all,
so good.
Rupert does not understand the amount of D&D which Rai Rai does in the first place. And second of all, try and spice things up a different way. It's D&D, Rupert.
D&D is already sometimes too spicy.
Well, sometimes you just have a dildo in your inventory.
Oh my god.
Just in case, you know.
A couple of years ago, so I run for many years now, for like 5 or 6 years, I've run the Dungeons and Dragons club at my school. Maybe it's 7 years now.
It's been a good long while.
And a few years ago, one of my female students was playing, and she was like, I try to seduce the guard, and she's like, I walk right up to him like, hey, big boy, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I was the dungeon master, so I had to play the guard, right? And I'm like, that is not happening.
We are not doing this.
Nope. You can do that in your home campaign if you want, but that's not happening here, just so you know.
Suddenly the guard appears to be grizzled and old and not at all attractive.
Oh my god. Yep, that's right. You can befriend the guard. You can bribe the guard. That's okay. But I'm not losing my job over D&D club. That's not happening. I thought about inquiring about a book from Megan, but after getting prezzies for the kids for Christmas, money was the thing I didn't have for making that order. Satan Sprite, that's okay. Did you already respond to that message?
I saw it, and I appreciate that you thought about me at all. And don't worry, because I am thinking of doing a more formal offering of autographed books this summer. So you've not missed your opportunity. There will be more opportunities for that. And I want to start making that a more regular thing to offer the chance for autographed books. So just keep an eye out. There we can see the start of the Beading on the Wings, which looks really good. I'm actually really happy with that. And once again, I've started with big beads at the base, so if I end up having to do smaller beads at the top, it will make logical sense. But that is where we will have to stop for now, unfortunately, because we got company coming over. And also, it's lunchtime. So there we go. You can see the tail that we got done completely here on stream. And the start of the wings. So for me, this is it for me this week, but I will be back tomorrow. I guess technically it's our stream tomorrow night, but we're just doing it on one channel. So we will be golfing with our friends tomorrow evening on Ghost Pepper's channel, starting at 6 o'clock PST. We've already confirmed some people are going to be there. It's going to be me, Ghost Pepper, It's Wolf is going to be there, Bard Owl and Carly are going to be there, and Exiled Faye is going to be there, and Rai Rai has confirmed that he is also going to be there.
Nice.
Drinking optional. PC version, yes. So that is going to be happening. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be over on Wolf's channel for our usual Saturday night hangout. Unless something goes horribly wrong. That is still the plan. And then I will be hopefully back to my regular-ish schedule this upcoming week. I am not entirely sure what my schedule will be, but hopefully Wednesday and Thursday. And if I can't do Wednesday and Thursday, then I'll do Thursday and Friday.
Yes, the PC version. PC version of Golf with Your Friends. Steam version. I don't know if Steam is compatible with other PC versions, but just being specific.
Are you planning on rating anyone specific?
Yeah, we've got Flannelsaurus is up. He's doing just chatting. He's naming every Pokemon ever, so it might be something that's a little bit more chill in keeping with this. The other option I see is Infinite Dog, who is playing Infinity Nikki, Is that the cute dress game? That's another chill game.
Is it?
I gotta verify. Is Infinity Nikki the cute dress game, or is it the quote unquote
I don't think
artful
it's.
game?
I don't think it's the cute dress game.
It is the cute dress game.
Is it?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm happy with either of those, but
Okay.
pick one quickly because we need to
Let's go
be
doggo.
heading
Let's go
off.
doggo.
All right. In case
That's
our
the
friend
thing. They have a
is
similar
sitting.
name, Nikkei. Yeah. Chocolate Rain, welcome. I hope you were well today. You caught us just at the end. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello, though.
Yeah, sorry about the abrupt end to stream, but we do have a friend coming over, and I don't want her to be sitting in her car.
Yep.
Thanks to everyone who hung out today. I am going to make a pretty speedy exit. Ghost Pepper might stick around a little bit more.
Same.
But you're all amazing, and it was so great to get to hang out with you. Chocolate Rain, also hello and goodbye. You're all fabulous.
I'm gonna be hopping back on. Bye. I'm gonna be hopping on stream a little bit later, playing some Guild Wars 2. Anybody who wants to join is free. It is a free game, and we'll see you then. Bye, friends. Thanks for hanging out.